Okay, so just to get an idea of who's in the room, how many of you guys have been to SoulCycle before? Okay, because it doesn't sound like you guys have been to SoulCycle. Awesome. Also, like a quick announcement is that MK's in the room.
Oh yeah.
A little bit starstruck, a little more starstruck for MK being here. I mean, I love Julian Elizabeth.
No question.
So, for those of you who haven't been, or for those of you who just want a refresher, we're going to watch a quick video from SoulCycle to get us in the mood for today.
Take a risk and to jump. In those rooms, we're telling people to follow your dreams, try something new, and go where your heart is, because we certainly did that.
SoulCycle is an extraordinary place.
It's an exercise community. It's social and it's joyful and you feel like a rock star.
It's therapy, it's escape, it's fun.
People come to us for the workout, but they stay for the breakthroughs they have on the bike.
People get to change their lives, their bodies, their attitude.
You lose yourself in the rhythm and you lose yourself in the pack and you work way harder than you ever would on your own.
I love what I do because I get to be the best part of people's day.
You showed me there's something more to us than the same old thing, no usual affair. I will never dream of your love to take me there, to take me there. Oh, baby, you got more love to give, baby. Oh, baby, oh, baby, you got more love to give,
There are no words for me to really describe it. It is joy, it is love, it is community.
You can have soulful moments, you can cry, you can laugh.
It makes you feel better about yourself, it makes you feel better about your day, and it just works.
You know, when I think about SoulCycle, what I find in the bike, for me, it's love.
Awesome. So it's 2016 right now, and I'm really echoey. And this is like the SoulCycle I know and love. I go there way too often for my paycheck. But what was the first SoulCycle like? It started 10 years ago, which I think is something that people don't really realize. I think that for a lot of us, we got to know this SoulCycle. And I can't imagine that the first SoulCycle was like this. So paint us a picture of what that first early day SoulCycle was like.
Well, it wasn't like this, but it wasn't so dissimilar from this, which is one of the things that's kind of exciting to see. The early seeds are there. I first just want to say thank you guys so much for having us here. This is an overwhelming, amazing place to be that you guys spend all your days in. And I don't know if we really realized that so many of you had ridden before, which thank you very much for doing that. Otherwise, maybe we would have made a shorter video. But the first studio was an old dance studio on 72nd Street in New York City near a bunch of express trains, so we thought it could be easy for people to get to. We built it out of IKEA, my station wagon. We had an online reservation system that took the friction out of going to your gym and waiting for an hour for your favorite class, and so you could sign up for your classes and plan your week around the fitness that you wanted to do. And the wheel was there from the beginning. We felt like we had big aspirations, like maybe sometime in the future people will just see the wheel and they'll just think SoulCycle instead of us having to have the word associated with the wheel. And it's exciting for us to have seen that dream come true as we've gotten bigger and had the opportunity for actual signage, which we didn't have in our first location. So not only could nobody find it, but we couldn't really leverage the foot traffic of New York City. But we overcame that by loving every single person that came in the front door, because we were pretty blown away that you had found us, and really excited to have you experience what we thought was not just fitness, but providing an experience that was different than fitness, that you could find something else in that room, whether it was burning calories or whether it was feeling like stronger or just a real human experience. So I think that kind of paints a little bit of the early picture.
Yeah, early days were really interesting. I mean, Elizabeth and I were introduced. We had both been taking classes at different gyms around the city. And we had both been talking to friends about, we have this idea, exercise could be different. It could be more than just a workout. It could really be an experience. And so we were introduced by a mutual friend, and we went to lunch, and we always say it was sort of the best blind date that we'd ever been on. And when I left lunch that day, Elizabeth called me and she said, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go look at real estate and you're gonna research towels. And I thought, okay. And by the way, I'll let you know, the first thing I did when I got back to my desk was I Googled towels.
She had a desk.
But by the way, it was great, Google, great service. It turns out you actually rent them, you don't buy them. But that being said, Elizabeth called me a couple days later and said, I found something on Craigslist, which is where we found our first studio. We certainly don't find our studios on Craigslist anymore. And it was the back of a lobby of a building. It was a funeral home that had been turned into a dance studio that was now for rent. And we met there for the second time ever, and we looked around, and it was tiny. I mean, it was 1,500 square feet all in, and our big purchase with our seed money was we sprung for a glass wall, sort of a frosted glass wall that we had some guys come in, and so it divided the studio from the reception, and a plywood wall, which was all we could afford, that then divided the office, which was about as big as our 3 chairs behind it. And we made all these trips to IKEA. We took us 3 or 4 trips through the Lincoln Tunnel to go to New Jersey.
And at this point, were y'all working also? Was it a seamless transition from the old job to new job? Was it a side project?
So I was working. I worked in the movie business at the time, and I was, sort of getting burnt out on the type of culture that was the entertainment industry. And I had just moved from California to New York City. And I was really missing the social aspect of what I had living on the West Coast with exercise. There were certainly a lot of great ways to burn calories in New York, but I really missed what was a very big part of my life when I lived on the West Coast, which was, exercise and the people that I knew and exercised with really being my community.
And when you started, so both of y'all's second career, you had children, you were married, I think. And arguably adults, so it wasn't like you had responsibilities. So on one hand, I think some people might think, oh, you had maybe cash, you had experience, but also you had a lot of commitments. Was that scary, especially with people telling you this isn't gonna work, there's no market for this?
I mean, let's be clear, nobody thought this was gonna work.
Yeah, this was not a good idea.
My parents especially. There was nobody who thought this was working. I mean,
people are like, spinning is completely dead. There's no reason to do this.
It's true, but beyond spinning being dead, the crazy thing for us was that there was no boutique fitness at all. There were yoga studios in New York City, and people were not paying per class for fitness. The real concept was you belong to a gym, you pay a membership. If anybody knows what the gym model looks like, their profitability is not with their group fitness programs. It's the add-ons that you buy at a gym. And so nobody really thought that this was a model that was something that would really work. And
but we definitely knew that it would work.
Yeah. We did.
No, seriously, we totally did know that.
It really has informed our entire experience, because we sort of have always looked at the pay-per-class model as a challenge to ourselves, right? We're only as good as the last time you came. So we've always thought of it as a mini production, right? It's curtain up, curtain down every time you come. from the front desk person who knows your name or remembers that you like your water at a certain temperature or has your, your rental shoes in your size waiting for you, and when you get there you think, God, that person really knows me, right? To the way that the instructor engages with you, the way that you're sent out into the world high on endorphins, feeling a little bit better about yourself. And so we really, as we were 360 designing this experience and thinking about sort of all the pillars that we wanted to put in to make sure that this experience touched you in many different ways, we knew that if we challenged ourselves to deliver that every time, that people would pay to come back.
I mean, I have to say, too, that I was probably the biggest skeptic of SoulCycle before I went. And like the other day, Kamel knew my name and he called me a chameleonaire, and that was like, I told my mom. Like I literally told my mom, like happier,
We're making a shirt. We're definitely
happier
making
than
a shirt.
someone with a gold star. It was like a huge, like I felt really, like I don't know other people who go to SoulCycle besides people I already knew, but I do feel part of that community. But before I was a huge skeptic. Like I was like, that's stupid. There's this girl in my dorm and I was like, I can't believe she pays all of that money. It's just because her dad works at Bain. But like, I've become that girl. And my dad does not work at Bain. So like, once you have people in the door, they transform. But when before you have like the bang behind everyone saying SoulCycle is the greatest thing, how did you convince investors and customers, like this is something you should spend a lot of money and your valuable time in New York City to do?
So it's two things. One is we self-funded. So that we had to convince ourselves, so that was a little bit easier than convincing other people who totally didn't believe in us at all, which is obviously a unique position to be in, but it was not. We were super scrappy and took out the garbage and only spent money on the things that we needed to, and the people who worked at the front desk also babysat for our kids, so there was a lot of cross-pollination going on there that worked really, really well. And then I think, the second thing is, like, we really realized early on, you value what you pay for. So if you're going to pay for something, you're going to show up on time, you're going to you're going to try to get something out of it, and it elevates the vibe in the room. And particularly when, listen, people get so distracted. There's so many things like biting at us all day long. I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. To spend 45 minutes not only checking off your workout, but also having something that's an experience for you that's unplugged. And normally we have external central nervous systems now, which is awesome. But I do think that there is a place for this in the kind of culture that we're living in now. And it really is a question of, like, we always talk about it's either 2 cocktails, inexpensive personal training. A friend of mine's like, it's 5 coffees. I'm just going to drink my own coffee that I make at home. And you just figure out like where your value system is.
And now that you guys are like head honchos, do y'all go like all the time?
We've always ridden. We made it for us.
We are. I mean, we've always been the user. In fact, I was watching the video thinking, I'm so bummed that I didn't get on a bike this morning. Truthfully, that's what I was thinking during the video. It's always been for us. I mean, that we were absolutely 2 people that were looking for an experience that did not exist, and that's why we created it. It continues to be for us. I ride usually about 5 times a week. I always say the one thing for me is I usually try to ride. We have a studio attached to our office. I can assure you our offices are awesome. They don't look like Google, but they are terrific. And we have a great studio, which is one of our big perks, is that we have a studio attached to our office. But I always try to ride not in the studio next to our office, because I say it's like, when you're home on Saturday trying to get work done and then you realize, you could clean your closet because you've been meaning to for a while. And inevitably I get lost at my desk if I don't work out in a different studio before I get there.
That's how I feel too. So I want to touch on something, Elizabeth, that you mentioned, is that you had a system that was extremely innovative that you can book. Y'all were the first people, I think, to have a booking system for like a spot, which I think a lot of people would say, like, if they could book like their yoga mat, they probably would get in a lot less spiritual fights. But like, I'm trying to think about how innovative that is, because like in 2005 or 6, like for perspective, like I was in 7th grade. I had a T-Mobile Sidekick. iPhones didn't exist. Apps literally did not exist when y'all did this. What was the impetus for that sort of innovation?
It came down to need, and we just decided it is so stupid that you were showing up at a gym to sign up on paper for something that you could do online. And it was great to do that early, because you barely were ordering food online 10 years ago. And what we kind of felt like was we wanted to have a place where people could come and start to seed a community. And it's kind of fun. If you're signing up for classes, you can figure out what bike you're going to be on, and you can be messaging your friend, or I'm going to be on this bike and you're going to be on that bike. And in that way, there's kind of a community vibe that starts to come out of it. And it's actually great because people come to our site.
And I want, this is like the Googler in me and also the paranoia is like, how do you guys use that data? Because I feel like you could get a lot, like what bikes people want to be in, what studios are popular. Does that data inform business decisions?
Well, we don't have as many people working at SoulCycle as you guys do at Google, so we have
in the data.
We have access to some data, but certainly not on the level that you guys think about it. But I think, look, I think data is important because it helps you sort of figure out like what people. I don't need to tell you guys what's important about data. You guys
Of course,
data.
what people want. I mean, definitely. You know, we look at our data to figure out all sorts of things about the business. I mean, we're not trying to be creepy and look at personal habits, but we do use it to inform business decisions, absolutely.
Okay, cool. And this is sort of like at that level too, like when you're creating your brand and something you mentioned that you created this product for yourself. And I think I brought two of my friends who are both males to SoulCycle for the first time, and they said kind of hesitantly, like it's kind of a girl's experience, and y'all are women. Did they say
that after or before?
They said before, and I was like, I mean, after,
and then how'd they do in
after
class?
they're like, they're dying. I look over and I'm real proud of myself because I'm hitting the tap backs and they're flailing. But it's another thing where you have to get someone in. But do you guys see that as a weakness of the product, or it's fine? Like, do you think you'll ever make SoulCycle more dude friendly or bro friendly, or is
There's
it
so
keep
many
the bros
dudes in the
out?
classes now, though.
Yeah.
When we first started, it was a lot of women. It really was. But I think women tend to bring guys, and women create communities much more so than men do.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is, we created it for us, but we were very, very sure in the beginning that we were creating a brand, not just a studio. And I think that even way back in the beginning when we had no right to picture, the brand, as, the Nike swoosh or anything like that, we did. And we were fanatical about everything from the graphics that we used to the colors that we chose to the voice that we wrote with. And we really decided to plant a flag and make sure that this brand did have a real identity and a real strong voice. And I think with any great brand, it really stands for something, and you can hear it talking, and you can understand what it feels like and what you're supposed to feel like when you're there and in it. And so for us, I mean, we absolutely took a point of view on what this brand was going to feel like. And even though it was created by two chicks, I mean, I don't think that there's anything about being an athlete or a renegade or a rock star that doesn't speak to every gender.
For sure.
And generation.
Correct.
And that's fun. It's fun to see. It's not just men and women. It's kids. It's older people. It's everybody in between.
And with that though, it does seem though like standing in a SoulCycle, you can kind of get the vibe of the type of people who go there, which may be because of price or where these studios go. As y'all are expanding, do you see that as a challenge to sort of get a different clientele, one that may be more Middle America than Miami? Do you think that that's how's that sort of affecting the vision, if at all, for y'all?
I think this goes back to what you're getting from the bike. Because for me, it's a human experience. So I think we sell fitness, that's our core business, but what's really going on in that room has a lot to do with where you are in your life. And it doesn't matter where you live. If you live in Kansas, it's very much a similar experience. Like your sister can be sick in Kansas, just like your sister can be sick in California. And if you're the one who's being strong for her and you're finding your strength on that bike to go back into the rest of your life and inspire those around you, or just like be your best person, there's so much value in being your best person. So I don't think I think that transcends demographic. I think it transcends parts of the country.
And I think what we're seeing as a macro trend is that health is the new wealth.
Definitely.
That people want experiences, they don't want stuff. And I do think that, if it was something that 10 years ago we might have thought about when we started the business, I really think that people everywhere are ready to feel good and have better health and, be a little bit less stressed out.
And super strong, to your point of kicking your friend's ass.
Yeah, and you guys saw him. He's 6'2". He's got he does curls for the girls, so we know that. I was proud. But to that point of how it sort of transcends, it's that experience. It's not so much that kind of transcends demographic. I've noticed that SoulCycle is very much experience-based. You never see before and after pictures. Maybe casually there's the mention of how many calories you burn, but especially given the the Equinox partnership, which is all like, body by Equinox, it's very results driven, but SoulCycle is very experience. Is that something that's intentional? Do you ever tout that, the effect of SoulCycle in terms of actual fitness, building strength, cardio?
I mean, the proof is in the pudding. It's in people's experience. I mean, the letters that we get, we're so highly engaged with our community because we were so desperate for people to come in the beginning. So we respond to every single email, every single tweet, and as a result, people share their stories with us, like very readily. And I mean, I don't think we're tracking how many pounds people have actually lost, but losing 72 pounds is a big deal. Losing 98 pounds is a big deal. Losing 25 pounds is a huge deal. And consistently you're seeing this coming through. But it's not, the best part about it is that it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. It's not the weight loss. It's I lost 25 pounds, but that's not what really happened. I'm happier, I'm smarter, I'm clearer, I'm having a better life. I met somebody, I did this. Like my whole landscape of how I interact with the world has completely shifted, and I just feel better. And who doesn't want to feel better?
Yeah, and we consider the fitness the baseline.
Yeah.
We don't feel the need to sort of say, oh, if you are going to look better, you're going to lose weight, you're going to burn between 500 and 800 calories every time you come. I mean, we can promise you that. That we can. It's not that there's no magic in that, but if you're doing the workout for 45 minutes, you are going to lose weight, look better, have better cardiovascular health. There's no doubt about it. So, it's one of those sort of, what else are you getting?
And that experience is so driven by these instructors who are celebrities. And I know, Julie, you were in talent management before this. So I'm imagining that you're bringing some of those skills. What were you looking for in the beginning and now to this day? Like, how do you know someone's like gonna fit? Because not all the instructors are the same. They each have their own brand, but they're all very SoulCycle.
Yes. Well, they're all trained to teach SoulCycle. I mean, SoulCycle, we audition hundreds of people a month now for our, coveted instructor positions, and we only take about 20 into every 8-week training program that we do. And so we see all kinds of people. We actually spend a lot of time now actually recruiting, not just sort of waiting for people to come to us, but we're out in the world always actively looking. And, it's really about charisma. It's about being able to deliver a certain kind of message. These guys are great DJs. And we teach them the workout, we teach them music appreciation, we teach them how to, create an emotional arc that you as a rider, come through and experience. But I really think, the first thing I think about when I meet somebody or think about them as a potential SoulCycle is, do I want to spend 45 minutes with this person? Is something that they are saying to me, am I going to react to this person in a way that something that they are saying to me is something I'm actually going to listen to? It's going to help me to break through, and it's going to help me to become a better version of myself, because let's be realistic, we all walk through the world and you meet people and in 1 second you say to yourself, I'm not listening to that person's opinion, that person, and put that back here and use it for something. And I really think that is sort of the first thing. It's like, are they charismatic and credible in a way that they are going to be able to ignite this kind of motivation in people?
And so as you scale that talent management, talent acquisition piece, like, and y'all started as CEOs, co-CEOs, and you're no longer that position. How do you sort of train that into the people who are working for you, who are now doing the recruiting, and how do you trust them to know what you've really cultivated yourself?
I mean, we have a great recruiting team. It's made up of quite a few different types of people. Not everybody. That's the great thing about people, right? So when you say that the SoulCycle experiences, they're all SoulCycle, but they're all with different people, right? And the person that moves me is not going to be the person that moves you. And it's really why sort of having a team of people that are out in the world looking at potential instructors is great, because what I like and what gets to me, it might be different than what she likes and gets to her. And so, we look at these auditions and then we really all sit in a room and vote. It's awesome. It's the best day. It's the best day of the month for sure. But we all have really different opinions, but I do think that the common thread is that sort of charisma and that leadership ability that we look for. And a lot of the people on the team have come from talent backgrounds. You'd be really surprised. We're not looking for people that come out of the fitness industry. A lot of our scouts have come right out of Hollywood. Most of our instructors at this point come from, dancing backgrounds, choreography, Broadway shows are closing, and who's free to teach on a bike now? And I think, we're looking in sort of less likely avenues for these type of people.
Yeah, and I can see that, I guess, too, to the piece of, like, you know, I go to a class, they're all different, but I know like my day of the week based on like whose class I'm going to. And like you've got Todd, this crazy firefighter, literal firefighter, and then you have like a spunky dancer the next day. Like that's gotta be nice to know that you're reaching a wide demographic with all these very different instructors.
It's true, and the thing is, we just wanted to create fitness careers for people, because before people would pick up one thing here and one thing there, and by the time they got to their next thing, they were exhausted. You're never gonna have a good experience. And if we gave people a home where they had, you know, proper benefits and great pay and all that sort of thing, and they could take their inspiration, just like you guys do here, and apply it to their jobs, there's so much magic that can happen in that. You're really investing in somebody's human potential. And that was something different that we did in the beginning that I think has really spoken to the DNA of the brand going forward.
And with that like very like transformative experience, I have to say like when I started SoulCycle, I was like in a tough place. I was going through a really bad breakup. I was making a lot of changes. I became a vegan. I meditated every day of my life, and literally the only change that has stuck is SoulCycle. I mean, like the breakup didn't even stick, to be honest. So
that's awesome.
So thank you, and I have to tell you, you've changed my life. I mean, I think how many people can say, or how many company starters can say, yeah, this girl told me her New Year's resolution was to literally buy more of my products. I mean, what does that feel like for someone to say like, hey, you helped me get over depression or over my eating disorder? I was going through such a hard time, and your product changed my life.
Well, two things I want to say. First of all, when you asked before about the physical benefits of SoulCycle, I think to your point of something that sticks, any exercise can run around and say we can change your body in 10 days. Yeah, and on day 11, we can also change your body back to the way that it looked before, right? So for us, it was really about finding something that we could make fun. We said we always say SoulCycle's like slipping the spinach into the ice cream. Our secret about changing your body and making sure you have results is that if you love doing it, you keep doing it, right? So anything that you keep doing for 2 or 3 or 10 years, you're gonna look really, really good. But to the point of people whose lives are changing and getting healthier and happier, for us, this whole thing, from having sort of a vision and a dream and putting some words up on a wall and building a front desk out of IKEA and being users that wanted this product and watching our first class sell out and then watching our 50th studio be built and getting thousands of letters, every year about people that want this thing all over the world and
working with the most amazing human beings
who are all, really carrying the torches and the people that are scaling this and making this happen every day. It's beyond really a dream, and then you add in the fact that this is a product that is actually making the world a little better, and it's a privilege. It's really a privilege that we don't take for granted, and ever. We were actually, Vicky, who's here, who's did a great job getting us prepped and unnervous. She gave us a page of and these are terrific transformation stories you can tell. We were literally reading them while we were getting our mascara put on, and I was tearing up. She's stop tearing up. You're putting your mascara. But I think we're touched every single day. There's barely a time that I am in a studio that I don't bump into somebody in the lobby who tells me something new, and you really have to step back and take a deep breath for a minute and think this is incredible that we're such different people and we're all being touched by this in a way. And it's what Elizabeth said, it's just such a human experience, to feel strong about yourself.
But I want us to watch this video because I think it just really captures how y'all are scaling that life-changing piece.
If I had to tell someone to go to SoulCycle, I would tell them that it's the best thing ever.
There's no judgment involved. You just do you, and you do yourself to the best of the abilities.
For years at SoulCycle, we've been writing and raising money for charity, and we thought if we could get to kids and we could start to teach them the benefit of a healthy lifestyle and community, that we could really change people's lives. I've personally had students tell me how impactful the job readiness program was. For years, they've wanted to make a resume, and they were able to after we spent a few minutes with them.
I have encouraged my mom to making new choices. So we went to the grocery shop together and we bought fruits. And that's something that I never do.
As a riding buddy, we meet twice a month and we ride together. After we ride, then we usually chat and really just connect about what's going on in our daily lives.
She's like encourages me, helps me with my college applications, with my job, she gives me advice, so it's very helpful and she's like the best.
She just makes me so proud.
The most inspiring thing about the Soul Scholarship Program is when you see the kids sink into what's happening. When the music happens, the lights go dark, and they start to lock into the rhythm.
When you get to ride in a room with those kids, it changes the air, the molecules of the room. It reminds us that we're riding not only for ourselves, but for each other.
You see them start to kick into what they know they're capable of.
And just get encouragements from the instructor. She was like, you can do anything you put your mind to, and it helps you push yourself in life.
After class, I feel different. It makes me feel good about myself.
I have the power. I can change the world.
I like the fact that everyone knows my name. Like, that was a big factor for me.
When the teacher first told me about this, I didn't believe it would take it this far. I didn't think I would be here right now. Like, it really inspired me.
It does not take a lot to change someone's life, and I feel so personally lucky that I've been able to help and contribute and be part of this program.
Definite changes have happened. Truly, I think we've just begun. This was the spark, and now they're on the journey towards finding themselves and developing self-confidence.
See, it was worth it, right? Okay, I have to tell you, like, when I saw that video, I think it was maybe MK posted, it was just on the Facebook, like, it touched my heart, like, a little bit for these kids, but also because I was like, this is how I feel. And, like, it made me mad, too, because those statistics are so upsetting about how people don't get to have that fitness in their children. Like, it's a huge disservice. So I want to ask, what was the inspiration for this? And then one of the questions that we actually got from a Googler before we started the talk was, what's the long-term vision for this?
So, like they mentioned in the video, we have always done a lot of philanthropy and money raising inside the studios, and we, for any cause, I mean, pretty much any cause, and we raise millions of dollars a year. It's kind of amazing that gets to happen, and it's great for everybody. And we always had this desire to have something that was like specific to SoulCycle, and there were some kids in Los Angeles who were riding in the studios and really becoming part of that community, and the community was benefiting from it as much or more, or equally actually, with these kids. And you started to see, like, you know, the possibilities being planted in them, where they felt like, you know what, I can be healthy and I can have a future and I can go to school, and I mean, these are people who just have no access to anything. So we felt like this was a great opportunity for us to do something very personal, where we could bring kids from underserved neighborhoods that were in their late teens, juniors and seniors in high school, and give them the mentoring and the kind of the skill set that maybe people weren't talking to them about, and help them kind of start to frame things for themselves and give them access to the studios. And it's amazing to see what the retention rate is. Like, these kids don't have to do this. Like, why would somebody actually, really, like, you're 17, you're pretty cynical maybe, and you know, it's a very high, 97% attendance rate. And in fact, we had a couple of kids get injured, and they would just come and they would just want to sit by the door to hear the messages, because it just touched them and made them feel better. So just being in that energy actually moved the needle for them. And I think the future for this is for us to bring this to other cities around the country and to continue to pilot this inside of all of our studios.
Before we do that, we're just going to do a last lightning round of questions, sort of inside the Actors Studio, but it's inside the SoulCycle studio, if you will. So you have to answer, and you can't think about it. If you were going to audition, what's your audition song?
For me?
Well,
I don't, probably Justin Bieber, but I know that's Julie's. I know that's sorry. I know that. I feel like I'm stealing that from you, and I feel self-conscious about that.
I might use Helpless from Hamilton right now. It's an interesting choice.
Favorite studio?
Favorite studio? Oh, there's no. It's the best studio. It's the West 77th Street. It's like our original studio.
I love all the children equally.
Before work or after work?
Before.
Only before.
Sometimes after.
Bit of both. Best cool down song? Return of the Mac. That's my best cool down song.
I can't answer that question. It's like there's so much great music out there, and that is what is so awesome about SoulCycle. Like people are making new music all the time. We get to listen to it in class. It's fantastical. You got one from Hamilton. You want to slow down, Tim? No.
I was like,
never going to be president.
Slide. Front row or sidebar?
Oh, neither.
Second row.
Second row.
Center.
Wow. And last one is what size weights do you use?
3 pounds. I'm getting to 5. Melanie is here, our CEO. She did 5 pounds for Turn It Up 20. And
yeah, she's really challenging us all. 2 pounds for me.
Okay, well, awesome. Thank you guys so much. We're going to do Q&A right now. So, whoever's bravest.
Every time I've contacted SoulCycle for a customer service issue, I have been overwhelmed at the amazing response I receive. That's part of my job here. I work on a customer service team. I'm super impressed at the way you guys can promulgate your culture even through your customer service agents. So I'm just kind of curious what your customer service philosophy is.
Well, it's actually one of our core values, and we say that we are a culture of yes. Even when the answer is no, it's every employee's job to find the yes in that no. And it's really the way that we built the business in the beginning. You know, we made sure that even if you hated the experience that we delivered for you, we gave you as many free classes as we needed to make sure that you had a good experience. Or, you know, if you forgot your wallet, we took $10 out of the register so that you could take a cab home. You know, there was nothing that we would not do in the beginning of this little business, which was located in the rear lobby of a building with no sign. To make sure that you wanted to come back, and we've really fostered that within the culture. And today, that's really the way that it goes. We run an in-house hospitality and culture and training school. I mean, that's really what SoulCycle is, right? We are just a customer service business. We'd like to think that whatever the product was that we were delivering, it would really be about our customer service. You know, making our customers matter is what we say our mission is. You know, it should be
because you do.
Yes, that's why it's Your Soul Matters, which is our email address that you write into. But we really do. Something that we learned early on is that there are so few, experiences that you have in the world that are transactional, where you really leave thinking, "Wow, somebody cares about me," and that is absolutely the focus of our customer service program. We have one very exceptional employee. She was our employee number 1. Mm-hmm. She spends her life as, a cultural, researcher. She's all over, figuring out the best ways that we can continue to innovate the way that we serve our clients. And it's really an enormous focus of our business.
So I actually wanted to ask you a little bit more about some of the negative connotations of SoulCycle. And just to be blunt, I think a lot of people see it as maybe something for like rich, white, hot girls. And I think a lot of people are maybe in a similar position as me, where I've been to a lot of classes and I actually love SoulCycle so much, but I'm like a little embarrassed that I go, and I'm like, I maybe don't want people to know because I don't necessarily like the surrounding culture. So I'm wondering if you've thought about broadening that, or what you think about kind of the negative side of it.
Oh my God, okay, can we just talk about that for a second? Because this came up at lunch. If you love something, it's okay to love it. And it's okay to tell people, I love Google. I tell everybody the Google thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Nobody's embarrassed that they're using Google. So it's so funny. I don't know where, that seems to be a little bit of, I don't know, have you heard that other places?
No,
Is that a phenomenon that's happening here? Do we need to do some turnaround on this?
Listen.
I definitely felt
Listen, it's not an inexpensive experience.
That's
there are a lot of things that aren't. I mean, you could say the same thing, right? I mean, people get their nails done. Are people embarrassed about that? I mean, you're paying somebody how much money to polish your nails. It's not actually making your heart any stronger. You're not actually any more confident, and it chips in 2 days. But I'm not embarrassed, nor are most of my girlfriends that get their nails done. And so I think it's really, you know, you could look at anything through any lens. You know, it's definitely, if anything, it really is something that's making people healthier, and so I don't think that there's anything to be embarrassed about.
It's okay to love everybody. It's okay. It's okay
You know,
to love.
I don't think so. And we certainly, I mean, really, it was started from a place of really wanting to create. It's why we have no lights on. It's why we ride in candlelight. It's why our instructors are trained to, you know, give you motivation and inspiration and not tell you that you need to work harder or go faster. It's like, it is really built from a position and a lens of love and no judgment, and it certainly was never built, you know, in mind with, oh, this is how you should look if you go there, or it's sort of an elitist thing. It was absolutely built in the antithesis of that. And so for us, I guess we've never really thought of it that way, because for us, we think of it as a place for everybody to come and do their best and just feel great about what they're able to do in the room.
So at Google, I think we really pride ourselves on like 10x thinking, and for like moonshot thinking. How do we grow things 10x? How do we reach for something that we didn't think was attainable? So I guess, how do you guys view that in the Soul Cycle? Whether that's like, how are you going to gain your next 10x of users, or how are you going to expand sort of outside U.S. boundaries, or where, however you guys are thinking about it?
Well, we should let Mel answer that. I mean, we don't think about it at all anymore. But Mel is here, our CEO, and she can answer that for you. We think about what song we want to cool down to. No. How do you think about that, Mel?
Look, it's a great question. I think, are you serious?
Yes.
You know, I joined Julie and Elizabeth 4 years ago as the CEO of the company. So I've been working with these guys for a long time. I've been a total fangirl since 2008 when they first set me up on a bike at West 72nd Street. And I think one of the things that has excited us and has made us so successful over the last 10 years is we've put one foot in front of the other. And we have made sure that every community that we have built has been authentic and grassroots, and every instructor and every employee that we've hired has been part of our community in a way that they're trained and developed and supported. And so, you know, I think these guys have done a great job about thinking about the moon and where that is. And I think we have some really clear long-term plans for the brand and for the business. But what we have done historically is put one foot in front of the other, and that's what we're going to continue to do to make sure that, you know, it's really special. If you ride with us, it's a really special experience, and we want to make sure that whatever we do remains really special. So longer term, we're focused on 3 things. We've talked about this in our filings. We are focused on international growth. We're going to take that one step at a time and think about cities, not the global planet as a whole, and make sure that we go into those cities in a way that's authentic to our brand and to those communities. We're really excited about our retail business because we think there's a lot of legs there. And we're also excited about digital. And it's ironic to sit in this room with these brains and say that. But we think we've got some really cool ideas there as well, and would love to talk about that with anyone in this room afterward, anytime, if anyone wants to be a part of that. And then obviously the biggest growth platform for us is just going to be keeping the core on track. We think we've got a lot of opportunities, a lot of communities we haven't touched yet, and we're just really excited to keep going.
Awesome, great question. Let's do you.
Have you ever thought of expanding to different cardio machines or workouts?
So the question for anyone who couldn't hear was, have you thought about moving to different cardio machines? So maybe a different format.
You know, we definitely have. You know, Soul Cycle itself is actually a format that's, you know, the Soul method is we could really take it and apply it to a lot of things, right? What we're trying to teach you in those rooms is really about how to become your best self, how to become your own coach by making your own internal voice strong enough that you can hear it when you're running or swimming or on our bikes. That's really our goal for you, is to, you know, train your mind in a way that's adaptable to whatever you want to do. And so we've thought about it. You know, we can't build Soul Cycles fast enough right now. It's a great problem to have. There are so many cities that we're just dying to get to, and so we are going to stay focused on SoulCycle for right now. But what Elizabeth and I really love and do a lot of day to day is we're still super focused on building this brand, and so we really think that by keeping the brand itself vibrant and evolving, and making sure that our SoulCycle classes are always evolving, and continuing to engage people in new and exciting ways, that at some point, if it makes sense for us to take the soul and put it on a lot of other things, then we'll do it. We definitely will.
Soul power yoga.
Soul everything.
Okay, let's do Erica.
Hi, thank you so much for coming today. Sasha is actually taking me to my first SoulCycle class next week, and I was wondering what your biggest piece of advice is for me. I've never even done like Google Spin like I Google, so I'm a little nervous, but I'd love to know your advice.
I want to try Google Spin, huh? That sounds intriguing. The most important thing is to get there early, let somebody set you up. We have amazing people who work in the studios, and once you clip in and get on the bike, follow the instructions about where the brake is and how to kind of get oriented, and then just let go and have the best time. Like, let your brain go, let your body go, and just try to enjoy it. That's the best thing that you can do. And then it's interesting. It's like any kind of physical activity. Once you do it a couple of times, you get into the rhythm of doing it, and it just starts to become second nature, and that's when you can start to really push yourself and find something different on that bike. Yeah, I'm excited for you. That's awesome.
We've got about time for one, maybe two more questions here. Let's go right here.
Can you build a studio on campus?
We actually got that question before today too, so we have some mini requests.
Like, who would go? I would go.
I'll teach the class. Okay, oh my God. I feel it coming together.
We might be able to do it in exchange for some digital expertise. Let us know who we should discuss that with.
Definitely trade my time. Okay, I think we saw a question here. Smiling face.
I just had a question regarding all the competition that's come up since SoulCycle's really hit its stride. I mean, there's reality TV shows devoted to it. There are every sort of spin-off you can imagine. What is kind of your guys' growth plan with growing against that competition, and like how do you expect that to increase or decrease?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that for genuinely, there is such a huge, mega problem out there that people are not moving their bodies. We have so many issues, and seriously, global issues, that people should just start moving. That's all that matters. Of course, we want everybody to ride at SoulCycle, but it is absolutely just great that people are, this is a conversation. My parents drank and smoked. That was their fitness activity. How far can I lift my glass? Yeah, I know. And so that you've seen that kind of change in just 30 years, it's a pretty big deal, actually. And it's amazing that people are having that kind of consciousness and realizing, oh my God, I have one body, I should take care of it. And the fact that people are getting inspired by the work that we do, we take our intellectual property very, very seriously. And so bad actors will be prosecuted. But that being said, I think it's great that this is happening. I think we both feel that way. I think we all feel that way.
Yeah, and we learned sort of early on in the beginning when we used to see imitators come out, and we would make ourselves mental about it. And somebody once said to us, high road, long view. And I have a sticker on my phone, and I move it from phone case to phone case. But I do think that, we try to make the decisions that are best for us. And I think that in business, in general, when you start to look around at what other people are doing and you make decisions in your life or in your business or anything that are about comparing yourself or doing something as a reaction to what somebody else is doing, then it's not going to work for you. I mean, you stay in your lane and you make the decisions that are right for your business. And so we really do. We appreciate what's going on around us. As Elizabeth said, it's a phenomenon and more people are getting healthy because of it. But really, we put our heads down and we stay in our lane and we just keep going. And we really, we created it for us in the beginning, and we continue to create the stuff that we think is great, and we hope other people are going to think it's great too.
It's irreplaceable. I mean, there's not the competitors, founders here at Google, so you guys have got the special sauce. So I want to say one last thank you, and let's have a round of applause. Thank you.